if you're a therapist who are running a private practice, let's just be honest, grad school doesn't teach us how to run business because there are two different skills: being a good therapist, being a good clinician, and running a business. Because the moment you decide to open your LLC, open your private practice, things like systems that need to be in place, your marketing, your HR system, if you need to hire other people, all of that is just you. Whether you are a business owner who operates like a private clinic, group practice, or solo practitioner, or self-employed, that's important. The same goes for your business, because if you want your business to succeed, this is a different skill that you haven't learned or you didn't learn in your grad school. So you need to find a professional, an advisor, a coach, a strategist who will help you to succeed in your private practice. So in this episode, I'm going to walk you through what to look for when it comes to business coaches and business strategists, specifically for private practice practitioners. Spoiler alert. A lot of business coaches out there who are working with service providers and experts are not qualified to work with therapists, simply because therapy business is a little bit more nuanced in people who have never worked as therapists, who never operated either private practice or never really have seen a client or not familiar with therapy industry, mental health industry, may not be a good fit. But who is a good fit and how to find a good fit? This episode is for you, and my desire for you to walk away with a tool, how to qualify, how to choose the right fit for your business, for the season of the business that you're in right now. And so you can find a really, really good therapist, really good consultant, really good advisor for your situation, for the season of the business you are in right now. So let's get it started. Now, I have to address the elephant in the room. We do have ChatGPT, we do have Perplexity, we do have Claude. And you might be asking, can I just ask AI? AI is so smart. You can do a lot of prompts, a lot of research. Can it be my business advisor and help me with really practical skills? Okay, let's say I want to network. I want to do social media marketing. I want to do X, Y, and Z. Can I just ask ChatGPT and can it help me? ChatGPT can find you information, and it's really good as a sounding board, but at some point it becomes sycophantic AF. So first of all, it starts regurgitate your, especially what I noticed with Claude and partially with Perplexity, and starts just regurgitating your ideas and your limitations in a different world, in different words, that it's really hard to spot those kind of details. And again, when you ask a specific question, even if you prompt it really, really well, it will find you an average answer what to do, but it can't really do step-by-step guidance for you specifically. And even if it gives you step-by-step operations what you need to do, and it's missing this component when it comes to efficacy, for example, when you might need help with marketing. And when it comes to marketing and therapy, I mean, AI is missing a lot when it comes to those kind of things. And even though it may give you overall semi-safe marketing plan, but without knowing nuances about your practice, about your clients. And also, when you talk to nuances, when you talk about marketing, when you talk about clients, you don't want to, there's so many nuances. This is why it is so critical to work with a coach and or business consultant who understands therapists, because it's like you're walking on the edge between ethical violation. Like, let's say when it comes to marketing, it's really important to actually speak the language your client speaks, but also how do you share that language? How do you share that message? How do you bounce those ideas without violating HIPAA or accidentally oversharing something that you should not overshare with ChatGPT, and ChatGPT or AI? It's third-party technology. It is not HIPAA compliant, and it's just like your intellectual property is going to float around on the internet, on the AI platform. Regardless what they say about privacy, you don't want to put your intellectual property into AI chatbot. So like this is important. This is important portion to understand. Yes, you are smart. Yes, you can figure out. Yes, you can use trial and error. But again, like, would you use trial and error in therapy and just, you know what, like, I don't know, I have very difficult clients. Let me just try and fail and try and fail and try and fail again. And like, I won't pay for a consult. I rather try different things, and you will harm your clients potentially. If you're not seeking education, if you're not seeking consult, you may harm your client. And if you're not seeking counsel, if you're not seeking help with your business, you will harm your business. So now, how to find a business strategist? Because there are a lot of good therapists who are business coaches. There are a lot of business coaches who know therapy really well. How to find them? I'm one of them. Why should you work with me, or when you should work with somebody else? So let's figure it out. So number one, it is essential to understand that you should work with a person who understands your field, who either was a therapist at some point, like understands human psychology, understands therapy. Because when I see a lot of on social media, there are coaches who coached coaches. And because coaches right now going out of business massively, they're pivoting to therapists, and they're trying to coach therapists how to run coaching program. So they're trying to convert therapists into coaches. Nothing wrong with coaching, but if you don't want to become a coach, you should probably not hire them. And you see those ads all the time, like, oh, if you are a therapist, if you're LCSW, LPC, LPCC, and like, bro, like, do you even know about those abbreviations? No, because like, I've been in coaching industry for a while, and I know big names in the industry, and I see how they pivot, and I see how they shift, and I know for a fact they don't know nothing about therapy. They have never worked as a therapist, and like just reading their promotional materials is just like, no, like I don't think it's going to work out too good for me. Like, unless I really want to build like a coaching, and even if I want to be a coach as a therapist, you know, like that's a lot. That again, ethical aspect, understanding therapists, understanding this niche is required. This is number one. Either former therapist or person who worked in therapy and mental health services. And that's essential. Number two, I would look for a person with diverse experience. And I might be biased, but I think a person who has international experience, not just the US experience, even for the US market, business is all about problem solving, okay? It's not just about knowing just one thing, because there are no rules in business. There are literally there are no rules. I mean, obviously there are ethical rules for marketing, for therapy, how you position yourself, what you put on social media. This is important. This is your license. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about there are no rules. Literally no rules. And if you are just listening to the same people with the same mentality, with the same background, with the same education, with the same experience, you're going to get the same results. And maybe those results are not necessarily what you're looking for. So for me personally, diverse experience is always a plus. And for me personally, I have international experience. I started my private practice in Moscow, Russia, in post-Soviet Russia. Talking about unprecedented times. We have war right now. We have crazy unstable political climate. We have a lot of tension. It was post-Soviet period. Political situation was all over the place, and this is why I had to leave Russia, because it was all over the place. And yes, I loved my private practice. I loved my work that I was doing with deaf community, but I had to relocate for my safety. But guess what? This experience that you as coaches, that you as based therapists don't have, this is right now bread and butter, because listen, that school, no MBA, no business school will teach you how to survive unprecedented times than unprecedented times itself, when everything around you is collapsing, when moral standards are different, when there are attacks on different social groups. That another important aspect to understand is for what season of the business you are hiring a therapist or a business coach and maybe a therapist. What is your season? Because listen, let me just be clear. If you are running a private practice and you are running a group practice and you have specific group practice problem, I'm not your guy. I have never ran a group practice, private practice. I work with solo practitioners. If you're thinking about adding group practice, start training other people, I can help you get it started. But scale your group practice, I'm not your guy. Again, look carefully for what help you are specifically looking for. So, solo practice all day. I am solo practitioner. I scale my coaching business. I am building my hypnotherapy business, which is I'm documenting as I go. This is month 0, month 1, month 0, when I'm getting all things figured out, and running a second business or adjacent business is it's really busy and difficult. So I'm just documenting and coaching myself as I go. So solo practitioners. If you're looking for also really important, your coach has to be technical. Listen, not because I spent 10 years in tech, writing code, by the way, not just operating with no code, drag and drop, website builders or app builders, but literally running, working in tech for healthcare, by the way, companies. Providence Health and Services. Hello. So, why it is important? Because I don't think you should pay 10 different coaches, one coach that will help you with the technical side, like how to automate your business. Another coach will help you with marketing. Another coach will help you with mindset. Like it's getting expensive. And at some point, I was comparing like certain prices. Like, for example, for my private practice, I'm thinking about adding an addiction counseling. And for addiction counseling, I need to get like additional credentials, SUDP. And that's $10,000 business coaching right there. Right. And that it can get that expensive. So, very strategic support. Like, who do you need? Right. So, what I tend to work with my clients specifically, I work on messaging, I work on marketing, and I work on positioning, like understanding business structure, and I work on fees and money story. So if you are a solo practitioner who wants to understand how do I speak to my customers on social media, how do I go and market with my feet on the ground to my community? How do I position myself and create a body of work outside of my therapy, outside of referral-based websites such as Psychology Today? How do I create recognizable body of work so other people can find me through YouTube, through Instagram, through LinkedIn? And also, how do I create the system that doesn't depend on social media? I'm your guy because I built my very first private practice without social media. Historically, I worked with Black and Latino entrepreneurs, and this is very personal to me again because when I moved to the United States, I mostly Black and Latino community welcomed me and accepted me as an equal human being. So, like, take it as you will. And those experts, also, they came to me as my clients. They're not social media influencers. They're not Black and Latino Mel Robbins, Tony Robbins, Jay Shetty's. There are consultants, there are experts, tech experts, branding strategists, sales strategists for products and like things like that specifically. And when they came to me, I understood that having them go viral, it won't bring them customers, but will as strategic messaging on social media and building community, going to the community, selling from stages. And when I say selling from stages, selling from local stages, from your local meetups, from your local community, because this is how I sold my private practice. I was working with deaf people. Guess what? I was not proud to go to my community and speak to them on meetups, on get-togethers, on concerts, on community events. People saw me in the community, and also every doctor, every emergency service practitioner knew in my neighborhood, they all knew my phone number. So whenever something would happen, they will call me as an emergency support for those clients. So, and this is exactly what I teach therapists, because this is bread and butter of private practice. Yes, positioning, yes, marketing, yes, social media, but also networking and bringing it together and going to your community. This is exactly what I do. Also, diversifying your income. Listen, I am the king of diversification of income, because when the economy just dipped and I had to figure out what the fuck do I do with my business, I had to get really creative. I had to go and this is kind of was a blessing in disguise because I had to go back to behavioral health. I was like, okay, hello, tech is not where it was before. I was thinking like, okay, how can I help myself right now? Like if my coaching clients are not coming as fast, I can consult and help mental health clinics and nonprofit organizations and who needs help right now, even though they may not pay as much. Nonprofit organizations who work with people with chronic and terminal illnesses, getting my license as a hypnotherapist, and also like being the king of documentation because when I moved to the United States, I was working in case management, in youth counseling, and I know quite a bit of about documentation, safe documentation that protects clients' privacy. Like income diversification, because right now, like I only work with 3 therapists at a time because it's one-on-one service. Again, one-on-one service, one-on-one working with me, and I have my private practice, I have my consulting services, and I do all the things all the time. Like how do I manage it? Like I honestly don't know. This is work in progress, like to be continued. Okay, so diversification, because listen, if you don't want to depend on one-on-one therapy specifically, you have to diversify. How? Run groups, adding coaching, adding consultation, adding speaking gigs, writing a book, diversification, okay? And how to diversify your business, that comes from you. One, probably the most important component. I might be biased. Your business coach, your business consultant has to embody the philosophy in their business aside just from business principles. I embody the philosophy of internal family system because until you act from self-energy, until you act from the place of creativity, connectedness, calm, courage, nothing will work. Like literally none of this matters because the protective part, the reactive parts, they will take over. They will derail things. They derail things in my business sometimes, and I have to be really aware of those parts. And parts that are reactive, that parts that are like can't deal with the discomfort because listen, running a business, private practice is running a business, like that will literally like open you naked to every issue, every part of you that is activated, that will activate your parts. And even though this is not IFS therapy, I embody this philosophy because it's real. Until we bring that self energy to your business, none of that matters. None of that matters, and this is essential. Now, when it comes to the price, let's talk about the price because for me, transparency is everything. I'm not hiding my $3,000 price point behind the sales call, behind the consultation. $3,000 because this is founder rate. I absolutely understand that this is fairly new audience to me as a business consultant, right? Like I work with experts, I work with consultants, but like now therapists are personal to me because I was that therapist in Russia. And like this, like the money story, this disparity, like, okay, how do I make money? How do I support my family? How do I how do I create spaciousness for play and freedom in my life? This is so personal for me that in 2026, I said, fuck it. I'm going all in on therapists because we fucking deserve to make money. We're make, especially now, we make so much difference in the world. We are meeting people at their most vulnerable points in life. I mean, we are the ones who are being there for clients when they're going through addiction, going through betrayal, going through double life, going like dealing with, I don't know, like sex work, you name it. And if we are not resourced, we cannot be resourceful. And this is the hill that I'm going to die on. And if a tech bro can go to a boot camp and in 3 months land a job that maybe a year or two later will pay 6 figures and sometimes multiple 6 figures, what the fuck? And therapists average income is $60,000. I am not okay with that. I'm not okay with that. And this is why it is personal. This is why I want more therapists to build more profitable private practices. I want to get as many therapists to work, like as many therapists that I can help, because I do have my personal limitations, like in terms of the capacity, but I want therapists to build this practice, to charge the fee that will allow them for creativity, for clinical creativity, for play, for freedom, that will allow them to build private practices that will support their families, that will allow them freedom when there is a surprise emergency room visit is not going to wreck them. When there is a need for you like to get additional education, because listen, I'm thinking about going and getting another credential to work with people with addictions, because I like what I do as a hypnotherapist. I like what I do, and I would like to add on to that. And I'm thinking about like, okay, how do I make my expertise as a clinician even better? Yes, I am in this situation where I'm at right now. Yes, I mentor out for 10 years in tech and gain amazing skills. And yes, like right now I'm back in mental health. And what do I do with that? And this is what I'm bringing to therapists. And this is why it's $3,000. All right. So this is how you find a business coach. Specific to you specifically, like preferably who knows therapists well. And it's not even preferably who knows therapists well, because you don't want to hire a coach who will sell them what they want and deliver them what they need. And then you will lose your license because this is unethical marketing. Listen, I'm almost done, I promise. Also, therapists who matches your season of business. If you are a group private practice and you would like to scale your group, look for a business consultant who specializes in groups. And if you're a solo practitioner, I'm your guy. If you need to messaging, community support, not being dependent on social media, again, I'm your guy. Or if I'm not your guy, if you're listening to this, I don't know, Eugene, that's fine. Find somebody who resonates with you. And also, almost forgot, therapeutic alignment or therapeutic alliance. The same for coaching. Because when therapy works, when you vibe with your therapist, The same with the coach. You have to vibe with your coach. If you don't vibe with your coach, don't hire them, because you're going to pay them and it's going to be a lot of resistance and nobody is going to like the experience. Hire a coach that you don't have to be a fan. You don't have to be absolutely, like, as they say, indoctrinated in their methodology, but you have to like them. You have to vibe with that coach. So that's all I got to say. If you're interested in working with me personally, one-on-one, send me a DM on LinkedIn or on Instagram. Always interview a therapist. It's not just a sales call. I mean, the price is $3,000, but I want to make sure that I can help you and that we are vibing, that it's the match. Hit me up. All right. Thank you. I will see you in the next video.